So I spent the week at an amazing event. It's AbilityNet TechShare Pro, assistive technology that brings a huge amount of equity to the workplace. And I was invited to be on a panel for AI ethics, something that I talk about every week. And I'm engaged with leaders in enterprise, vendors, government, academia, and we get into deep discussions on the ethics of machines and the future of how human machines are going to operate together. On that panel, I shared some of my view on how ethical AI is technology that's deployed for the collective good of humanity, and that we must always be careful where we default to trusting machines over people. As fallible as humans are, we can see some recent examples where we haven't put full diligence into trusting the information or trust coming out of machines, like the post office scandal and many others that have floated to the surface recently. And the impact on communities, on trust, on relationships is devastating. What we can't afford to do is always default to trusting the machine over the human. There was a round of applause. Clearly, the idea of ensuring that we continue to value trusting humanity over the machine in this era of AI is an extremely important and personal thing that people really engage with. I spent a lot of time at that event capturing what people actually feel about AI accessibility and what it means to be human in this digital world. For many, AI is a good thing and there is huge optimism. AI is not a threat to many.
I also noticed you're wearing the rear band glasses.
Well, I bought them really early.
Is that doing anything now to you?
Yeah,
augmenting?
It's making me truly multimodal. So if you think about sending a text message while driving, or taking a note, a voice note, I've had all that technology on my phone for ages, but until it's here and right in the kind of the moment with me, I wasn't pausing to kind of put that note on my phone. I was just kind of relying on it being here. So now what I'll do is I'll go out for a run or I'll go walk the dog and I will send messages directly to Copilot from my glasses. And then when I get home, I'll ask it to write an email based on the things that I was talking about during my walk. Yeah? So the way that we're starting to use the technology is truly what I would call multimodal, which is what we've been talking about for years. We used to start with keyboard and mouse, now we went to touchscreen, went to voice. All those technologies like voice input and things have been there, but the AI is adding a level of panache. That's probably a terrible word to use, but it's making all of those existing functional experiences more accessible. So I would even say things like, on-screen keyboards are going to become much, much smarter, right? Touchscreens are going to become much smarter. Eye control, maybe that will start to get a rebirth when AI can actually start measuring what you're looking at, and maybe that's what's going to happen inside these glasses. But the point I'm making is, the building block technologies have been around for quite some time, but now what we're starting to see is kind of the AI layer making all those technologies better. Let me give you an example. If I'd asked somebody who was neurodiverse to dictate an email a year ago, they'd have told me, forget it. I'm not slowing down long enough to tell that thing, full stop, new line, new paragraph. I don't think in paragraphs like that. I don't think ahead of what I'm going to type. Now what they're doing is I'll say, right, go into Copilot, just stream off what you want this document to be or this email to be, and then you turn around to Copilot afterwards, you say, right, format that for me, make that in something. So the voice input method became useful suddenly, where it wasn't useful to that audience before, not in a meaningful way. So that's what I mean, every bit of assistive technology I think is going to become more powerful because of AI.
For the creators, the filmmakers at the event, to disabled technologists, AI is not a threat. It's a force multiplier, removing barriers and giving people new agency, new control over their own destiny.
Where it seems to be having the most impact for someone like me, so I generally work on my own or with small teams, particularly whenever I'm working with another editor. AI is really useful, whether it's in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro. There's lots of different tools within it, whether it's automatically subtitling, beginning to recover things like blown out highlights or over or underexposed shadows. You can start to recover that color information, whether that's through automatic subtitling tools, denoising software, sharpening or upscaling of resolution. There's all these fantastic tools that are actually very, very affordably available at a commercial level for filmmakers nowadays. So AI, in terms of back-end tools, editing tools, has been an absolute game changer.
But straight after that, the conversation's got a bit more deep. When content is purely synthetic, it can feel hollow. There's a human sense when something's missing, when that element of humanity is missing. And the effort and toil and work that goes into creating are what fundamentally makes them human.
I get more value from things if they're harder for me to do. If I have to put more effort into doing something, the outcome is inherently more valuable for me, and I feel like I've earned it. So it puts it on a pedestal for me. If I see something that somebody else has done and I appreciate the work that's gone into it, I appreciate it more if I understand how much work has gone into it. So it's not always clear to me how much that happens with AI, whether it's generated from a simple prompt, somebody says a word, and that generates some elaborate artwork. That seems almost too easy for me.
And then I heard about a fear that I really wasn't expecting. Not about losing jobs or AI replacing people in the workplace, but the fear of losing clarity. People need to know what's real. Nuance, the subtlety, the emotion within everything around us, within our environment, within our relationships, within the media that we consume. And this isn't just an accessibility, it's not an optional issue, it's essential.
So I work with technology that helps people use the internet, people who maybe cannot use all of their senses. So they may be blind, they may be deaf, and AI can generate some of the content for those people. But we're trusting it a lot at that point. AI can describe an image that a blind person can't see. And if the website author hasn't described it in text, people can use AI to do it, but it lacks the subtlety of a human touch. They can't understand at the moment the context around an image. Why was it put on a page? What's the intent of the author behind it? And that sort of information is difficult for AI to glean at the moment.
But over the day, a pattern emerged. AI doubles or triples every system it enters. If the system is already broken, it will scale those broken elements. But also if it's inclusive, AI will scale inclusivity. So preparedness for the implementation of synthetic humans or AI around data, around structure, around inclusion are essential.
When you use AI to accelerate and automate processes, if those processes have innate bias, or if those processes are already exclusionary, then you're going to accelerate that exclusion and you're going to amplify the deleterious effects of AI on society. On the other hand, if you're using AI to augment the accessibility work that is being done, then you're going to improve stuff for society. So I think it really does need you to be mindful, needs you to work with the community, build with the community, and to really question what it is you're trying to do and be transparent about what you're trying to achieve with that AI.
One person said something that was profound to me and it stopped me in my tracks because it gave me a completely different perspective on the way people are seeing AI come into the workplace. And they said, AI, it's not a new problem. The dynamics that it's potentially bringing aren't new dynamics. They said essentially, AI is going to bring in a power imbalance, and that disabled people have been living with power imbalance all their lives, it's just that we're seeing it now. And that hit me really hard, this idea of integrated power imbalances across various different areas of life, and that we're seeing that now appear with AI augmentation or not.
What we've got here is a power dynamic. Disabled people, we already experience this power dynamic. What's happening is with AI, more and more of the general population will experience the same power dynamic. So you're joining us in being on that weaker side. And we have to work together to push back on it and assert the power that we have. So it's sort of a new problem, but just an evolution of an old problem. And that is a scary future, but we have navigated out of futures like that in the past. In the bigger picture, there isn't anything new here, and it's just going to take time to play out. We all have a role in how that plays out, which is both really freaking exciting and kind of terrifying.
I would say the whole event was hugely hopeful. And despite what you are exposed to in the media, which is in many ways at the ends of the spectrum and it's sensationalized either good or bad, the reality is that everyone I spoke to are seeing benefits from the use of AI as a tool, as just a new technology. And there's huge hope. AI isn't an abstract technology, it's understood and the value is clearly seen. For some people it could be the difference between a hot meal and a cold meal. AI for all of the people is a step towards a form of independence.
It becomes more and more difficult for us to distinguish between reality and generated content. And so if you go down that rabbit hole of thinking, I don't see a utopian world. For some reason, it's hard for me to grasp what that would look like. But if you go down another rabbit hole and you see the advantages of AI and how it maybe could improve education in societies around the world, or healthcare, or diagnosing disease and rectifying that, or assisting in surgeries, or anything in that world of bettering humanity and extending life, maybe, and healthier living, that's optimistic. That's more utopian, I would say.
If you're going to take maybe a couple of hours to write a full test script for a few functionalities, you can put a couple of prompts in AI and it will generate those test scripts within a few seconds. Wow. And you just have to then edit it and make sure that it fits what you want to put. So yeah, it's quite quick. It's
very cool.
And, yeah.
Do you see AI being used anywhere else outside software development?
Absolutely. In healthcare. I recently spoke to one of my colleagues who's in the healthcare, and I said to him that I think AI is spearheading a lot of changes within the healthcare in terms of diagnosis and prescriptions, and also, future issues that could come out from that.
The TechShare Pro event was transparent, and it showed me a general truth across all of the people I engaged with, that AI will be part of a digital world that is accessible for everyone, but only if we protect what it actually means to be human. Trust, emotion, empathy. It's the collective care for humanity that matters, and that's something we all need to protect.
We are in a computer game.